Oh, you should be able to still.
No, I still can, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Is it still sharing my screen?
No.
Oh, let me change it then. Hold on.
Okay.
Let me try this. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Okay.
But not, I don't see the Sims.
Oh, you don't see the Sims?
No,
oh,
I see
you
us.
see your side. Okay. Sorry, I did this the wrong way.
No, you're good.
There we go. Now do you see the Sims?
Yes, now I do.
Okay. Technical difficulties there, but we made it. All right. Here we go.
I'm gonna find a question here.
All right. This is not going to be a big house. It's going to live in a little shack.
Are you ready for the first question?
Yeah.
Is somebody morally culpable if they take a morally wrong action at the orders of a superior?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that question?
Yes. Is somebody morally culpable if they take a morally wrong action at the orders of a superior?
You know, I feel like it depends on how bad the action is. like if, let's say, like 1930s Germany to 1940s, that little era of time. I feel like the people who would work for that government were culpable in a sense, like
The
because there
people
should be a
following
certain
orders.
point where like you should say like I morally can't like follow through on this job, and then you need to just find something else to do if you can, like, but still you need to at least,
So I have an
or at
add-on.
least like be, if you are like, I don't know, I guess, yeah, I think there's culpability after a certain point though.
What
Like,
if their life is at stake?
well then I guess that's different. like if it's like self-defense type action, I mean, I don't just mean like in a fight or something, but like, like if
So if somebody was
like
telling
if
you to
you
do
need this job
something
to live,
bad, and
like if you
they,
need this job to live and you are gonna get fired, then like if you don't do this action, then like I feel like there's still like some level of, but it's not that a
culpability?
level, yeah, there is a level of culpability, but like after a certain point, like if it's really bad, but like there's like it's like a 50% culpability, I would say, maybe, if like their life is at stake, like
Yeah.
unless it's like literally physically at stake. Obviously, if someone's holding a gun to your head and you do something, like, I mean, I wouldn't use that against you.
I think that just comes
Unless
down.
unless it's, I don't know, like unless you're like trying to like take someone else's life or something like that, or like permanently traumatize them for the rest of their life or something. Like then I think, I don't know, I would at least reconsider and maybe say I'm not going to do that, but I don't know. Like it depends on
it's
what the action is that you're doing.
And I think part of it just comes down to I think most humans have a basic instinct that they want to survive. That's just the natural instinct that we have. So but I do feel that there obviously, what depending on the action is going to be some definitely there's going to be culpability at a point, at it to an extent.
Yeah.
Because then it also comes down to then it's also perception, I would say, too. Because does everyone, like with some things, I mean, or maybe not perception, but I'd say ignorance, maybe? Or you could feel they are morally wrong. What I'm thinking of right now is companies polluting the earth.
Yeah. Okay.
Because they're doing that to survive, are they not? They need money.
Yeah, but they don't need as much money as they're making, so I definitely hold them culpable.
Yeah.
Like,
What
I mean, they
about...
have more than enough to survive. They don't need to be damaging the earth as much as they are. They're just trying to earn the
Yeah.
maximum profit. So, in that case, I would hold them 100% culpable.
What about a small mom and pop company that maybe is
I don't think they would
polluting the
be.
water?
Well, I mean, like, if they're polluting the water, I think they're culpable because, like, you don't have to pollute the water to get rid of your waste. And, like, if you can't afford, like, you know, the proper means of disposing of your water, then, you know, maybe your business isn't viable, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that's kind of harsh, but...
No, I mean, I think
like,
there's truth to
there's
it.
a certain... I don't know, in my mind, I guess there's just a certain level of restriction you need to have over corporations, especially in, like, a capitalist society. Because otherwise, when you're in an environment when you're trying to maximize profits and taking nothing else into consideration, like, you know, basically just gonna destroy the planet at that point.
Yeah.
Like, I just think...
So with
Because you're
that...
trying to make maximum profits. And so, like, that's all that matters to the company.
So with that question, are the workers morally culpable for working? Because
I think if they're not the ones polluting the water directly, like, I feel like they're not culpable because they're not involved in making that decision. But if it was a democratic workplace, then yes, the workers would be culpable if they voted on that decision.
Okay. Because I was going to say, like, these large corporations, the business owner could be like, well, I'm not technically putting this stuff into the furnace that's polluting the air or whatever it is. They're not physically doing it. Their workers are. So are their workers morally culpable, or are they?
I think ultimately whoever's making the decision is morally culpable for the most part. And I mean, for dumping pollutants in water, like, I feel like I wouldn't blame the worker for that personally. Like, to me personally, that's not a bad enough action. Like, considering the circumstances, I guess to me, it's just not a bad enough action for me to think that they're more. But, like, I mean, other people might disagree. But.
And I think it comes down to the fact, I think, in my opinion, the workers, technically, their life is at stake because we have to work to live. We can't not work. If you don't have money in a capitalist society, you die.
And I mean, that's true.
It's just the reality of living in a capitalist society is we can't just live. We have to work. And I'd say a lot of workplaces are probably going to be larger corporations because they have been building, I don't know if we can call them monopolies strictly, but they definitely have been dominating smaller companies, and so they're making it so that we can only work for large corporations. So we don't even have a choice in that aspect either. So, I mean, I would agree that the owner, whoever is, like, maybe even the CEO, the high up people in corporations are morally culpable comparatively to the workers.
Yes.
I mean, that's just my opinion. It's an opinion. It's not
like
fact per se, but...
Let me give a real world example here of
Okay.
what I'm thinking, though, because, like, there is a certain point where even under a capitalist society, you're still morally culpable because the action is just, it outweighs, you know, your circumstances, in my opinion. Like, okay, so let's talk about Fox News for a minute. So, like, Fox News reporters calling people groomers, like, that's probably not directly the reporter's decision for the most part. Like, I would imagine that there's at least some input by the higher ups on that kind of news reporting, you know?
Yeah.
But I still think the reporter is morally culpable because their actions lead to, like, I'm not going to make any legal claims here, but, like, I mean, there is an argument to be made that their words lead to stochastic terrorism, or they are stochastic terrorism, rather, like just telling people things that are going to make them feel like they're in danger of a certain group of people.
Mm-hmm.
And then, someone does something terrible to that certain group of people, like taking their lives, for example, or attempting to, even, like.
And I think with that, it's important to ask the underlying question. If they're trying to absolve themselves of blame, then why are you pushing these narratives? What do you gain from pushing that narrative? If you're not trying to make people hurt others, what is the purpose of that narrative? If your goal isn't to have people go out and harm others based on calling people groomers, then what is the point of it? Because there's no fact or basis in truth at all with that statement. It can be, I mean, you could say that about any group, I guess, technically, but they only talk about one group. They're not talking about every group.
And I mean, like, if you have a problem with, like, let's say, sex education, and you have a problem with the teacher teaching that topic, and you think that that's grooming, then, like, you basically have to logically think that everything a teacher says is grooming. Because all sexual education is presenting children with information. It's not encouraging anything. It's not enforcing anything. It's just giving information. Just like, even a history class is controversial these days. But, like, let's say a math class. Like, it's the same as a math class. They're just providing a different kind of information. And
as long as they're,
as long as it's facts, you have to think that, like, a math class would also be grooming then, because it's doing the same thing as a sex ed class. It's just a different topic.
Yeah. And that's because they
would say, like, the topic is inappropriate, but when you look at, like, the data of what the impacts of sexual education are, you see that it helps prevent, like, abuse from people, and it prevents, like, unwanted pregnancy and, like, all this stuff. There's so many different things I could go through.
And I don't really see how sex ed is inappropriate, because sex is a part of life.
Yeah.
It's just a natural part of life. It's only inappropriate if you perceive it as inappropriate. So that's your own internal biases and your own perception of it. It's not actually inappropriate. You are building a fallacy that it is inappropriate. Or I guess I don't know if you'd call it a fallacy, but you're just building this. It's all your own biases, I would say, and perceptions that aren't based in reality.
Yeah.
Because it's not inappropriate. Sex education is not inappropriate.
It's actually important.
Yeah, it's just factual information. It's just, you're just giving the fact. Nobody, I mean, you can make it inappropriate, but I highly doubt teachers are making it inappropriate, because that would be wrong and weird. But
no their teachers aren't perfect, so, like, they might not teach.
I mean, they're humans.
The best manner. Like, maybe they're not the best teacher to teach that subject, but they're there teaching it, especially with teacher shortages nowadays.
Yeah.
But that's, I mean, like, and, like, there's just so many different, like, okay. But the thing with Fox News is, like, I don't even think these people, like, believe half the stuff they say. Because, like, I mean, every Fox News employee has to have a vaccine to work there. And they're all vaccinated because they all still work there. But then they'll go on about how the vaccine is so dangerous and it has, like, all these dangerous side effects. and it's better just to get COVID. Like, come on now. But then you're vaccinated, so like, obviously you don't actually believe that to the, at least to the fullest extent.
Yeah, I mean, I personally feel that with a lot of pundits, I guess, if that's what they're called, or even just politicians sometimes. I don't think they truly believe what they're pushing, but they know that it will get them votes, and they know that it will appease their fans or whatever you want to call them.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
by pushing these laws, I highly doubt some of them truly actually believe in the laws. More so, I don't think they care about. I think they care about power. I would say
they
that
care about
obviously money and power. Yeah,
and power too. I mean, money is power in the society, but
yeah.
Shit.
But I would agree that I don't think a lot of people who push. Maybe I would say that maybe some of the people who have platforms and push that information don't 100% believe what they're saying, but they know it will get them attention, which will get them money and power. I guess that would be my theory. Obviously, it's just a theory.
I mean, there's some pundits who really truly believe what they're saying.
Yeah.
And I don't know which is scarier to me. But,
I guess it's all pretty scary, I'd say. It's all concerning.
Yeah. I don't know. And then people say, like, you're overreacting, and no, it's not a big deal. But I feel like a lot of people don't actually know what kind of things people believe these days and how they, express them.
Yeah, and it's always been there. It's just, I do think COVID lockdowns and everyone was chronically online, I guess I'd say. And I mean, people still are, but I don't think there's, like, I feel like whenever people say chronically online, they say it as an insult, but I don't really feel like it shouldn't be a negative thing.
Right.
Because the internet shouldn't be this disastrous of a place. It should be a better place. Yeah. So it needs to be controlled better.
Yeah.
But like, we can't claim that just because people are chronically online, they're worse people. Like, what was preventing them from being worse people out in public?
I mean, I see chronically online, I see that as more of an addiction, like an internet addiction.
I mean, yeah.
That's what I would consider it.
I guess
there are people who are like, chronically online, I would say, but I don't mean that necessarily as an insult. Like,
I mean, I guess it depends on how you're defining it. Because, like, I don't know, personally, I would probably consider myself chronically online, but I'm also at times doing research just on topics that I'm interested in. So it's not, I guess it depends on how you do you define chronically online as just someone who's always on the computer or internet, or is it more so someone who's just on like social media? So what do you define that as, I guess?
I mean, I guess, okay, when I initially think of it, like, I really do think of it as just like mostly social media. But when when you ask that question now and I'm thinking about it, like, I mean, it could just mean someone is like always like maybe looking at like, like Pinterest or something. Because I guess, well, it's kind of social media, but not exact. It's different.
But that's why I feel like I don't think chronically online is inherently a bad thing.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a bad thing necessarily, but
I feel like people use it that way.
Well, I feel like it's not that it's a good or bad thing. It's more of just like how truly chronically online you are. Because like, I feel like the more time you are spending on your phone and stuff, like if it's to an excessive point, then like it is bad, but like not bad that isn't there a bad person. Because I wouldn't say that, but just it's bad in the fact like it's not healthy.
I mean, I agree with that but I mean, like, for me, I do a lot of like obviously editing with our podcast and shorts, and so a lot of it is more like, I consider it a job, obviously. Yeah. But I do understand that it is good to get. I mean, right now it's cold where I live, so I don't do much getting outside. But when it gets warmer again, I will need to force myself to get outside, and just hanging around my family is good social interaction too. So I think there's building a balance, but I guess I just don't like the connotation that I hear when people use the term chronically online, and it's always negative because
right,
especially a lot of jobs, even if you go to an office, is still you're at a computer, like because it's being on like I guess
right. Or if you
online. Does
work
that
in
mean
tech or
internet
something, if you're in
or yeah
tech,
tech?
like you're gonna
Like
be
then
on.
you're always with electronics. Is online only on the
Exactly.
internet or
Yeah,
is
like
it
what
with
if it's your
electronics?
job?
Yeah, exactly. So I
It's
just
your
feel
job. Is it that's still chronically online because you're online all the time? Like, what if you like work for Twitch, or what if you work for whoever,
yeah.
YouTube, Facebook, whatever? Then like, I mean, you're still technically online just as much. You're just, but I think you're not interacting as much. Like,
So it's the interacting
I
that
think
they
it does relate
consider.
more to social media in that sense.
Okay.
Like when people use it derogatorily. I mean, because I've never heard it not used in at least slightly derogatory sense.
And I do think a lot of times when they do use it, they are using it in the sense that people will hear an anecdotal story online and like extrapolate that to as a universal experience.
Yeah.
So, but that is just a fallacy that we can all fall for too, because it's easy to our brains, I think, just do that. I don't know. I've fallen for that, but I catch myself too. So I think that's the important part. I think it's okay if you maybe make these extrapolations to the whole society, but then you just need to be able to kind of catch yourself in that and be like, okay, hold up, let's actually digest this information and think of it. And like when you actually get out into your community, you can see actually how your community, like you should never. I don't base what I see on the internet as what I would experience in society, but I also don't think that just being online is an
Well,
excuse for hatefulness either.
I mean, I guess it depends because, like, I feel like if I'm online, but I mean, obviously, I don't really base it off of social media as much. Although I do have an app that like is like a crime app that updates me if crime happens in my area.
Oh, okay.
Like the other day, it told me like some lady got shot in the foot.
Oh.
So yeah, and I got a notification for that. But like, I mean,
Or what about
for the
news?
most part, like, or yeah, the news I don't trust as much to give me accurate data. Although, like, if
Like
they're reporting
AP
something that
or
happened, then that's different. But I mean, I'm talking about like statistics and numbers and studies and stuff like that.
you
Like,
don't
if I'm
trust
looking
like
at that
NPR?
online, then like that's a trustworthy source, obviously. Then I'll
So
trust
source
it.
matters. Like
Yeah,
NPR or Associated
yeah,
Press.
NPR I trust for the most part.
I
They're a
mean,
little
you
left
could still
leaning,
take
but
it with
I still
well,
trust
yeah.
them to give accurate data. At least they might
Yeah.
put a spin on it, but like, I mean, I could just ignore that and just look at the data.
Yeah. Or like Associated Press. I think NPR,
Like,
Associated Press, and then Reuters are supposedly the top, like
because
that
like,
are not leaning. They may be a little left, but
right,
I don't think they're necessarily left
yeah,
leaning. I think people
they're not left
consider
leaning. I think people just call them left leaning because they're
they
not right
provide the
leaning.
facts. Yeah. Well, and they just provide facts, and
Yeah,
supposedly facts
exactly.
people think are left,
Exactly.
but they're not.
And people think facts are just the quality of the left, which I mean is kind of true, but they use it as an insult. Where
Yeah,
like,
but I don't consider myself like. I mean, I guess I would technically be,
because they're like,
but I
oh,
don't.
you trust the science that's run by the government where they're trying to make money.
But I don't idolize the left like
Right.
some
No,
people think
exactly.
the
That's why I'd
leftists
rather have a
do.
neutral news source
Yeah,
than
which is
like
why I like
a
those ones.
biased one. Even if it's on my side, like if even if I agree
Yeah,
with what they're saying, like I'd still rather just have
the
just the
facts.
facts.
Yeah,
That's all I
exactly.
care about.
Because I can make my own opinion. I don't need somebody else's opinion. But,
Right.
and I will understand that my
I mean,
opinion
I'll
is my
listen to
own
other people's
biases. Well,
opinions
yes, yeah.
sometimes, and like, because
It's good
it
to
helps me
hear,
form my own opinions too.
yes. And it's even
I
good
can
to
say I
hear
agree or disagree with that.
from people that you don't agree with, because I think it's good, well, just to kind of hear
Yeah,
what they are saying, but also
yeah,
because we have to realize that we are humans and we are, well, most of us are diverse. So one opinion isn't reflective of who we truly are as a person. So that's why even people that have some of the worst opinions, you still may have some commonality between the two of you. Like we
yeah.
cannot deny that. Even if you dislike their opinions and views and feel their views and opinions are harmful, you still may have some commonality between them because we all are human. whether we want to admit that or not. We all are humans.
Yeah.
But that doesn't make their horrible actions, which harm others, okay. But I think it's good to just understand that we are humans too, but not in a way that justifies it, because it doesn't. They should still be held accountable for their actions, like everyone should be held accountable for their actions.
Yes. Exactly. And like you need, if you're going to be in any kind of journalism at all, like if you're reporting news, like you have a responsibility to not spread misinformation. Like, to the best of your ability at least, because sometimes like you're just given the wrong information and like you don't have any way of knowing. Like if you work in journalism at least. Like for like, a bigger corporation or something.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, you need to try everything you can to make sure that you're giving the correct information to people and not spread misinformation.
Yeah, definitely. And if you accidentally spread misinformation, then just be open to being corrected and learning from it. That's one of the biggest things too, I would say.
And make sure that you like publicly state that it was a miscorrection. Like if it's something, especially if it's something that like is a really big deal, I guess.
Yeah.
For lack of better words, but
yeah, I agree. I think it's just important to like we mentioned. I think our words matter, and what we say matters, and is going to have an effect on the world, and we are responsible for our words. But I have another question.
Okay.
So this one is like a couple of questions. And I'll just add, you don't have to expand fully on them or you can, but they're kind of like yes or no. But if you want to expand on it, obviously you can. But okay. So, can a dog suffer?
Yeah, of course a dog can suffer. What kind of question is that? I mean, they feel pain.
What about an ant?
Yeah, I would think so, yeah.
What about a plant?
A plant? That's a harder one. I would say in a sense, but like not in the same way that an animal or a human could suffer. Like it would be a different form of suffering, I think.
What about a bacteria cell?
Maybe. That's possible.
So why do we claim that some can suffer yet others can't? What's the distinction?
Honestly, I think it's partially a lack of evidence. I think it's partially just that natural human superiority that most people feel over animals and plants and all that. And we have a hierarchy based on their relation to us. So
yeah,
that's what I would say.
Because if a bacteria cell can feel, then I mean, is it our right to, kill it? Because that's what we do. Bacteria cells are bad. We perceive them as bad because they hurt us.
Well, not all bacteria cells are bad, though.
Well, yeah, like the gut bacteria. But I guess I'm thinking more like, what about? I don't even know off the top of my head what a bad bacteria, like one that harms us, is. But
sorry, I was getting caught up in my game for a second.
No, that's okay. I'm gonna look for another one then too.
Okay.
Some of these I already know, like your answer, obviously.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
I'll ask them anyways, because should the death penalty be legal? Why or why not?
Okay, you probably know my answer to this one. Anyways, yeah, no, the death penalty should not be legal. not only because it's just, I don't morally believe in it, but putting that aside, even if I did, even if, I was okay with it morally, there's still issues. Because, first of all, it's way more expensive to give someone the death penalty than to make them spend life in prison. So it's just cost effective. And there's also many cases where people are put on death row and then later it's found out that they're innocent. So, how many innocent people are we putting to death? Like, we don't even know, because our justice system is very flawed. So, yeah. So definitely not, is my opinion. Let's get rid of the death penalty. Let's do it right now.
I agree with that, especially with what I heard about happened in another state where they had 3 failed death penalty attempts.
I
Like,
didn't
what?
even mention that. Like, yeah.
That's horrifying.
It's because of the way they administer the drugs. They don't do it for the nicest possible death for the person on death row. No. They do not give a shit about that. They just care about what it looks like to the people who are watching. Because people do watch executions. There's
That's weird.
Yeah, and like sometimes it's just the family of the person on death row, but then sometimes it's just like, I think random people come in sometimes too if they're like big enough cases. But yeah, so the first drug they administer is for paralysis. And then, the first drug they administer is a sedative, I believe. So that they can knock them out. It's not an anesthetic, though. It's a sedative. It's like a benzodiazepine. Not benzodiazepine, but it's like in that same drug class.
Do you want me to look it up?
Yeah, look it up. And then the second step is a paralysis, to paralyze the body. And they inject something for that. But if the patient's still awake, if the sedative didn't put them to sleep, then they're just like paralyzed and then they can't ask for help. And then
I found once you're done explaining, I found a short article.
Yeah. And then they administer the for the euthanization. The euthanizer, like I don't know what it's called, but like the stuff that kills you, basically. And you can read the article too. That would probably be helpful, because I'm probably butchering this, but I'm just trying to do this from memory. This is from a while ago.
Yeah, that's. So let me zoom in on my. So that the text is bigger for me. Here we go. Okay, so this is from deathpenaltyinfo.org. Lethal injection, overview of lethal injection protocols. So until 2009, most states used a 3-drug combination for lethal injections, an anesthetic, usually sodium thiopental, until pentobarbital was introduced at the end of 2010.
They call them anesthetics, but like they're sedatives. I don't know why they call it. I mean, maybe we can look it up. Maybe I'm wrong, but like I'm almost positive.
Well, I want to say
closer to the benzodiazepine class.
We'll look it up. Pancuronium bromide, a paralytic agent, and potassium chloride stops the heart and causes death. Due to drug shortages, states have adopted new lethal injection methods, including one drug. 8 states have used a single drug method for executions, a lethal dose of an anesthetic. Arizona, Georgia, Idaho, Missouri, Iowa, South Dakota, Texas, and Washington. 6 other states have at one point or another announced plans to use a one-drug protocol but have not carried out such an execution: Arkansas, California, Kentucky, Louisiana, North Carolina, and Tennessee. Pentobarbital. 14 states have used pentobarbital in executions: Alabama, Arizona, Delaware, Florida, Georgia, Idaho, Mississippi, Missouri, Ohio, Oklahoma, South Carolina, South Dakota, Texas, and Virginia. 5 additional states plan to use pentobarbital: Kentucky, Louisiana, Montana, North Carolina, and Tennessee. Colorado includes pentobarbital as a backup drug and its lethal injection procedure. Midazolam. 7 states have used midazolam as the first
midazolam.
drug.
I was thinking.
Oh, okay. In the 3-drug protocol.
Yeah, for the first one, yeah.
Alabama's use of midazolam in the execution of Ronald Smith in December 2016 resulted in nearly 15 minutes of Smith heaving and gasping for breath.
Oh,
Arkansas's use of midazolam in 4 executions in April 2017 raised concerns, and in the execution of Kenneth Williams, witnesses reported coughing, convulsing, lurching, and jerking.
Oh.
In January 2017, Florida abandoned its use of midazolam as the first drug in its 3-drug protocol and replaced it with etomidate.
Okay.
And then fentanyl. Nebraska first used fentanyl in the August 14th, 2018 execution of Carrie Dean Moore.
It was badly.
At least there's then compounding pharmacies. And then alternative methods. Several states have laws allowing for alternative execution methods if lethal injection drugs are unavailable. Alabama, Mississippi, and Oklahoma all have laws that allow for the use of nitrogen hypoxia. Tennessee's law allows for the use of the electric chair. Utah's law allows the firing squad to be used if the state cannot obtain lethal injection drugs 30 days before an execution.
Oh my god.
What?
The firing squad.
New Hampshire allows for hanging if for any reason the Commissioner of Corrections finds it to be impractical to carry out the punishment of death by administration of the required lethal substance.
Well, if I think about it, actually, though, like, a firing squad almost sounds better than this lethal injection process. Because, like, with a firing squad, like, at least if they have good aim, like, you'll die very quickly. And, like, it might not look good optically, you know? Like, people might not like how graphic it is. But, like, it's honestly, in my opinion, a better solution because you're more likely to actually just immediately, you know, execute the person who needs to be executed. If we're going to have the death penalty laws, you know, like we might as well at least do it in the most humane way possible, whether it looks good optically or not. Like, it shouldn't be about us as the viewers. It should be about their experience as the person who needs to be executed. We should do this as humanely as possible.
Yeah. I mean, we shouldn't, and I know we both agree that it shouldn't happen at all. But if it is going to happen, then yes, I agree.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I want to say there's not really because anesthetics and sedatives pretty much do, because an anesthetic is used to put people down or under, which is what a sedative is used for too. Like they're kind of the same.
Yeah, but sedatives are less likely to actually put you down than anesthetics, I think. Because, I mean, like, you know, especially if you've taken those drugs before, like your tolerance is also going to be higher for them. So they may not even inject you with like a high enough dose to knock you out.
I don't know if anesthetic is a technical category though. Like
Is
I'm not
it?
finding
Oh.
anything.
Is it not a technical category? I thought it was.
Because when I Google anesthetic drugs, what I see is propofol, etomidate, and ketamine are the intravenous sedative hypnotic
But like,
agents.
what do they use for anesthesia in the hospital?
It would depend. But I mean, for sedation, we would use propofol.
Right.
And we would use...
Because isn't sedation different?
Like, do you mean maybe when we were doing intubations?
Like if you go to, okay, let's say you go to get your wisdom teeth pulled out, like how did they knock you out?
My brother had fentanyl, is what they used for him.
They really use, oh, okay.
So I think it really just depends on the doctor or the anesthesiologist or the nurse anesthesiologist, what they prefer to use, because it was always different.
I thought there was a different class of anesthetics, but like, I guess, yeah, no, I've been given fentanyl in the hospital before, but like, not for pain, but like to
keep you under. Well, it's more so for pain.
It was the thing. I guess it was like for pain, but like a different kind of pain.
Because anytime
Think
when in the ICU, we would use fentanyl. Well, I mean, sometimes I guess we would use only fentanyl, but rarely ever. And then we would also have propofol or there's other ones. I just off the top of my head can't think of them right now. I guess there were some times where we did only use fentanyl, but I don't think that really kept them.
But then
that was because they had brain injuries, so they weren't waking up anyways.
Yeah.
We just needed to control. Like it was more so for comfort, I would say. But it did obviously keep them under too. But it's more of a comforting than because anyone who didn't have a brain injury who was in our ICU, we had to use other sedatives on top of fentanyl. Like I don't remember fentanyl working by itself to keep someone under.
Yeah, because like that's what I'm saying, I guess, is like it's not doing the job, so I'm just trying to figure out why.
Well, like, fentanyl is a analgesic. Yeah, like, fentanyl is technically an analgesic, though. It's not even technically considered a sedative. And I mean, I don't have so much of a
problem with using fentanyl because, like, it's a way stronger drug. So, like, I can understand how enough of that will put somebody under. But, like, it's more of this, like, the ones that are in the benzodiazepine category that I have a problem with.
Yeah, we didn't really, at least in the hospital I worked at, we didn't really use.
Because I'm just saying that's what sedatives. They use for the executions in most states, or in a lot of states, is that, especially the midazolam, I think you said.
We use that for seizures where I worked, but
yeah, and that makes sense.
But yeah, I don't think,
but not for like executions.
No, yeah, that's another obviously concern that I have with executions is how don't we have this figured out? Because pharmacologically, we should know how to euthanize someone with medicine. So why is it like? So yeah, it doesn't even seem humane. Like they're not doing it humanely. It doesn't seem like because they could easily euthanize someone probably with a high dose of fentanyl or something. If that was their goal, if the death penalty was to actually just euthanize the person.
To me, I mean, but you don't give them enough not to overdose though, too. Unless you were using it as the overdose tool, but that has gone well in the past.
And I guess, I don't know for sure, but just what they do, like, I feel like it should be, like, I would hope that an anesthesiologist was having, like, a say in drafting that. Although, again, we shouldn't have the death penalty, in my opinion. But if we are going to have it, an anesthesiologist should be consulted. That's my big concern with politics sometimes is I don't feel like these lawmakers are consulting the people they actually need to be consulting.
Right. They definitely need to have, like, experts in certain fields for certain types of laws.
If you're writing these abortion laws, you need to have people, doctors that are dealing with abortion, not doctors who don't deal with abortion. That doesn't make any sense.
And I mean, federally, they do have state departments, although a lot of those are kind of, at least they were corrupt under Trump. I don't know what Biden's doing. I haven't kept up with that, but like.
Well, they could still be. Either way, even if you're making laws regarding the economy, you should consult an economist. Economist? Yeah. Like, it's just crazy to me that lawmakers just have this superiority that they know everything and they know what's best for everyone. They don't. No one does. That's the point of diverse. Like, I mean, that's the point of diversity is just to expand your mind. But even like a workplace, a corporation has multiple members on their board of members or whatever that's called. But it's not just one person solely making all the decisions. They consult others. So lawmakers should legally, in my opinion, have to do the same thing. It should be illegal to write a law without having someone consult. Like you shouldn't, because half the time I feel like laws are written between members of Congress, but what qualifications do you have to be writing these laws besides the fact that people elected you into power? That's not a good qualification, in my opinion.
Right.
Like maybe
I mean, you can still, like, the legal paths in which you need to take, but you don't know, you're not an expert in every field it requires. So it's
I'm not saying it as an insult. Yes. I'm not meaning it as an insult. I'm saying that they just need, it just is concerning that they feel that they have this knowledge to do that, I guess, is my concern with it. Because I'm not trying to be rude about it or say that they're not smart. I mean, if they have a lawyer degree, law school, I doubt, is easy. So I'm not discrediting their knowledge
Yeah,
per se, but
it's just
you
that there's
aren't
no,
knowledgeable on everything.
yeah, no person is knowledgeable on
No,
everything.
exactly. And that's why it's good to be able to reach out but yes, I do get concerned with specific state
Well,
departments if the politicians are the ones putting people into those positions, because then obviously that can easily be corrupted, because then you're going to put a doctor who's going to tell you what you want to hear, and that's wrong.
yeah.
That defeats the whole purpose of having an expert, because they're just like a yes man at that point. They're not going to actually tell you what is the truth if they know you're not going to like it, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah. And like, yeah, I guess, yeah, I just really think that we need to have experts who work with the state on a state level, just like we do with the federal government. And I don't know how much of that I mean, we do have different departments, but like we don't really have like that same like we don't have like I think it's the cabinet where like the Department of Agriculture, Urban Housing and Development, or whatever, like all those different experts put their say into like what we write into law.
We should be
I
voting
don't
on
know if
those
they have
people
that on a
too,
state
though.
level, I guess. Can you look that up?
Like Department of Health and stuff.
I mean, yeah, or like, do they have are there any departments that have a say in the law besides like Congress on a state level? I don't know how to shorten that up, but like, I guess that's just what I'm trying to communicate here.
So, like Department of Agriculture.
Yeah,
You're wondering if there's state levels and not only federal?
yeah, because I know they have like different um, what's the word? I mean, they have different departments that like do stuff on a state level. I'm not sure if they have an input on the law like they do on a federal level.
So, does state level departments.
Have a say in the law, I guess.
All I keep getting is. Well, because I think even federally, they don't technically have to consult the state departments. Like legally, they don't have to either, which is
Which they
concerning.
should. Yeah.
Yeah. But I also think we should be voting on those people. I don't necessarily like the fact that the president just can put whoever he wants in charge of these departments. That's concerning to me.
Yeah, I
Like, we
agree
should
with that.
vote on who
And with
we
the
want.
Supreme Court too.
Like the Department of Education, we should be voting on who's heading that. The
I agree. Yeah.
electors, right? Electors? We are called
Yeah.
electors? Okay. We should be voting on the people that
Like
lead these departments because they affect us.
right. And we
They
should
affect
also
everyone,
be
but
voting on Supreme Court justices.
yeah.
100%.
It's very odd that we don't have a say in those things that affect us.
Yes.
Very
That definitely should
concerning.
change, in my opinion.
I don't know if I can find what. So Department Agriculture. This maybe I'll just Google dues.
Oh,
What are those called? Let's see here. I don't know if this will answer our question, but it may
Okay.
pose another concern.
Uh-oh. All right.
So each year, state lawmakers across the U.S. introduce thousands of bills dreamed up and written by corporations, industry groups, and think tanks. Disguised as the work of lawmakers, these so-called model bills get copied in one state capital after another, quietly advancing
Oh,
the agenda of the people who write them.
are you talking about the ALEC bills? I think that's what they're called.
I don't know if that's specific.
Because, yeah, I think I've heard about this. Where they just, like, make template laws. And then, like, you can just present them yourself and you don't even have to write them yourself. Like, they're pre-written for you. And, like, they're the same laws in all these different states. And then you can just vote. And
Oh,
it's usually done by, like, Republicans. But
so this says
I'm sure there's some Democrats that do similar things, but it's mostly Republicans from what I understand.
more than 30 reporters across the country were involved in the 2-year investigation, which identified copycat bills in every state. This team used a unique data analysis engine built on hundreds of cloud computers to compare millions of words of legislation provided by Legiscan. 2-year investigation by USA Today, the Arizona Republic, and the Centers for Public Integrity reveals for the first time the extent to which special interests have infiltrated state legislatures using model legislation. So I wonder if that's kind of what you mean,
Yeah.
like model legislation is what it's saying.
Yeah.
Found at least 10,000 bills, almost entirely copied from model legislation, were introduced nationwide in the past 8 years, and more than 2,100 of those bills were signed into law.
Let me see if I can. Yeah, ALEC. Yep. ALEC. Through corporate-funded American Legislative Exchange Council, global corporations and state politicians vote behind closed doors to try to rewrite state laws that govern your rights. These so-called model bills reach into almost every area of American life and often directly benefit huge corporations. In Alec's own words, corporations have a voice and a vote on specific changes to the law that are then proposed in your state. Do you? Numerous resources to help us expose Alec are provided below. We've also created links to detailed discussions on the issues available on the left. So, yeah, I think we're talking about the same thing.
Yeah, I see Alec now. It
Yeah.
was down further. Then there's a
Oh, it was okay.
here I can if you let me share my screen quick, I will show you
Oh,
a
yeah.
picture that just shows which states copy bills the most, which I
Okay.
think is interesting to see. And it's everyone. Like it's not just Democrats or Republicans. It's
Yeah.
so and a majority. So here is the states that copy the most. Every state copies model legislation, but the types of special interests they copy from and how frequently vary nationwide. So red is conservative, blue is liberal, gray or white, whatever color you want to call that, other, and then light blue, industry. So can kind of see Arizona copies a lot of conservative. Oklahoma, MS, is that Missouri?
Mississippi, I think.
Mississippi, okay. New Jersey is industry.
So, wait, can you scroll up to the top for a second? I missed what this is measuring.
Just copycat bills.
Oh, like who's doing them? Okay. Wait,
Yeah.
so how is industry separate? I'm confused.
So,
What does that mean? That an industry is pushing the law in
because
Congress?
industry bills are the most copied.
Because okay, are they like bipartisan industry bills?
I'm wondering if that, I think it's more so focused on
Like,
corporations. I think it's corporation interest is what that is, because it's not conservative or liberal interest, it's corporation
it is
interest.
based on the interest of the bill. Okay, I
Because
got you.
it said, I saw somewhere that it basically was saying that corporations or let me find what it said here. I can stop sharing my screen now. But
Okay.
because it said Model bills passed into law have made it harder for injured consumers to sue corporations. So yes, I think industry is corporations protecting their self-interest, and obviously, clearly, our politicians are fine with that in a lot of states. I mean, there are some states that are good with not copying bills, which I will give them. I mean, I may not respect everything that state particularly stands for, but I will give them the respect of at least not straight up copying model bills. At least it makes me think they somewhat think for themselves, you know, slightly at least.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd never heard of that before, but
yeah, that's ridiculous. I forgot about that actually.
I mean, to an extent, I guess it in a way makes sense that, like, if we were obviously, if like, I would think that conservative states would have bills that are similar, because I would think I know that not all conservatives are the same, just like not all Democrats are Republican. Like, I understand that there's differences, but I feel like their ideologies tend to overlap, so it would make sense that laws would be similar.
Yeah.
I guess, in my head. But the fact that they're, like, just straight up copying each, like, I don't know. Like, I get it. It would be easy, because they'd be like, oh, we like that law, so why wouldn't we copy it and institute it in our state?
Yeah.
But you also should make it state specific, because
because
every is going to be different.
If we're going to have state governments, they're all going to run a little differently, because each state is a little different.
Because then what's the point of having state laws? We might as well just have federal, you know?
Right, exactly.
We're just going to start copying. I don't know.
Yeah.
Another question?
Yeah, sure.
Let me find a good one here.
Right. I don't want to put the windows on this house, but I should. Anyway.
You don't like windows, do you?
I don't. It is so tedious. Oh, the phone.
We'll go back to...
Wait.
We can do this one, I guess.
Okay.
Would the world be a better place if nuclear weapons didn't exist?
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, well, actually, hold on, because I feel like this is a trick question. I mean, not intentionally, but like I feel like it's a trick question in a sense, because like the science that we've gained from developing nuclear weapons, there's been additional, scientific discoveries. I can't name them off the top of my head. You could probably look them up, but like because of nuclear weapons, like we developed newer technology. But I just think it would be better if we got rid of them at this point. But that's not gonna happen. But like, not just that, but like everybody in the world like would get rid of them. Obviously,
yeah.
Like not just America. That would be a dangerous situation then.
And I also feel like we could have discovered nuclear technology without weapons, though, too.
Yeah.
Like, I know they developed the weapon, or I guess I don't know the history of nuclear tech, but if they developed their weapons first, then I can see their claim as it being good, because it helped us develop the technology, but I feel like we wouldn't have needed to develop like I don't know. I still feel like we could have come up with
There could have been
nuclear
another way to
tech
discover
without.
it for sure,
Yes, yeah,
but it might have taken a lot longer though in the timeline we live in. Like it could have taken like an extra 500
maybe.
years, and then you know.
I guess it just depends because they obviously weren't. They were looking for like methods of mass destruction, so it's not like they were looking to improve humanity. But if we were looking to improve humanity, maybe we still would have.
I
But
mean, they were looking to improve American humanity, or like
well,
any country that develops nuclear weapons is looking to increase their own humanity by protecting themselves, but also
I guess
some countries just have it as like not as a defense, but as like a threat, and that's not good.
I think that's what most of it is for, though.
I mean, it's also a way
Especially
to
the first person who invented it.
The first person who invented it, yes, that would be as a threat.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, after the first person, like, people who might have developed it more for defense purposes, just so that they wouldn't be attacked, because then if you attack them, obviously they're going to attack you back.
Did America develop nuclear weapons?
I think it was America, because I think it was based off of the atomic bombs. Maybe. I might be wrong on that. I know they came after the atomic bombs. But
Oppenheimer, a professor of physics at the University of California, Berkeley. Father of the atomic bomb. Yes, so America did. And I highly doubt we were looking to improve humanity.
We're looking to improve American humanity, and we didn't really care about any other humanity. I think that's what it was.
I guess you can make that argument, claim.
Yeah. It's not a good thing. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but I'm just saying that's the mindset. Like, we just want to make America the best. And, like, if we got to sacrifice anyone else, then so be it. Like, that's kind of how it was.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, because then you look at the Cold War.
Destruction doesn't.
Was just, like, trying to be better than the other country. And trying to prove that you're the best country, But
destruction doesn't. I don't know. I guess I would just argue destruction. Like, even if that was, I'm not saying that you are wrong. I'm just saying that that's a fallacy on their part, because destruction doesn't improve lives. They could have looked into maybe like a dome to put around America to prevent anybody from attacking us.
Yeah, but
then I would be like, okay, maybe, huh?
But then how do you leave ever? You're basically trapped.
Why do they want to leave if they hate everyone else?
Yeah, that's true. But then you're restricting travel to your citizens, and then your citizens uprise and take over because they can't see their family that lives in other countries anymore. For example, they can't do business and meet with people from other countries in person anymore. Like, corporations wouldn't be happy with that. Because they need then there needs to be able to be people who like deliver things that we import and export from other countries. They need to be able to come in and out too. So like, I could see why they wouldn't do a dome, but I mean, I understand what you're saying though, because like, I agree we didn't need to invent nuclear weapons, but like, okay, let me just look something up really quick.
Okay. I guess it's just that, well, because it was during World War II, I think. So they were looking to develop a defense weapon. So they were looking to develop a weapon, though, too. At least that's what I believe. Or not believe. That's what, I mean, if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. But that is what I think right now. Like, off my limited knowledge of nuclear weapon history of nuclear weapons. It was, and like, just when I briefly looked and said Oppenheimer was during World War II, the atomic bomb. We spend a lot of money on weapons and military when we should be spending it on our people here in America and how to improve everyone's life here in America rather than how to kill people in other countries, is my opinion, I guess.
Yeah. Let me see, maybe this will mention something. Come on, National Geographic, don't be like that. I want to read your article. um, 6 World War II innovations that changed everyday life. Here we go. I think this is what I'm looking for. So let's see. So one of the most famous World War II inventions is the atomic bomb. In 1945, in August, the U.S. launched its first and so far only nuclear attacks on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, killing an estimated 110 to 210,000 people. Bomb stands out from its devastating impact. There were many other non-lethal innovations during the war in the fields of medicine and technology that drastically reshaped the world. Some of these innovations were based on research or designs predating the war that weren't able to take off until the U.S. or British governments funded these projects to help Allied forces. 6 innovations that came out during that surge. So flu vaccines, penicillin, but that's more medicine. Jet engines. Let's see. Blood, plasma transfusion, electronic computers.
Because what about nuclear power? Is that related to nuclear weapons at all?
I would think.
Or are they completely different?
I can look it up. Let's see, radar.
Because what would have come first, the power or the weapon, would be my question. Because then I guess you could say nuclear power, energy, was discovered after we it's just physics too, like science too, I guess. But the fact that they utilize that science in
nuclear weapons was September 12th of 1933. That's the first nuclear bomb. And then nuclear energy, 1951.
And the weapon was 33.
The first self-sustaining nuclear chain reaction. Yeah. Because, the origins are really interesting. I'm not going to read this whole thing, but just the first sentence here. So, physicist Ernest Rutherford discovered that when lithium atoms were split by protons from a proton accelerator, immense amounts of energies were released in accordance with principle of mass energy equivalence. So, he and other nuclear physicists, pioneers Niels Bohr and Albert Einstein, believed harnessing the power of the atom for practical purposes anytime in the near future is unlikely. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so the first nuclear reactor. The U.S. tested the first nuclear reactor weapon in July 1945 with the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Yeah. So it looks like nuclear weapons were invented first. But I think nuclear weapons were made with nuclear energy.
Well, because that's just science, I guess.
Yeah.
That just comes down to the science of it.
But like the energy itself was later, they were able to contain it enough to harness it and use it as energy, basically.
Yes.
Let me go. So yeah, let me go back to sentence.
And then obviously not all scientists who discovered nuclear, just the physics or chemist or whatever, that science behind it didn't have intentions to build a bomb, but the military aspect of it used that knowledge for what I would say was evil. I would consider it evil, personally. I mean, yes, I understand now everybody, pretty much a lot of countries have nuclear weapons, so we shouldn't just get rid of ours, but just should never have been utilized that way. And sure, you can make the argument if we wouldn't have discovered it first, come up with it first, then another country would have.
Yeah.
Maybe, I guess. But that isn't an excuse to...
Right.
Were we the first country to use it, though, too? On other human beings?
Yeah. I believe so.
Because there's no excuse for that. That was terrible. I mean, they're gonna claim the war, but wars are manufactured anyways.
Yeah. Let's see. Ooh. I could kill someone?
Oh.
That's a cool cheat. I can give him a cell phone. I can change his fit. Ooh. I'm looking for the vampire setting, though. Here we go. Make a vampire. Oh, hell yeah. Judy Giuliani, huh? Let's go, Mr. Vampire. Heck yeah. I gotta... How do I get out of this menu? Why isn't this working? Oh. There we go. Oh, why am I recording? How do I stop this? Okay, I'm gonna have to delete that later, I guess. Much, but okay. Alright, so...
I have another
job as a criminal.
Question.
Oh, yeah.
Churchill. Oh, okay. So we can do a couple of these Churchill ones because they kind of go. Well, I guess there's only two, but we'll do the first. I don't think they will take. I think they'll be easy. Maybe. I don't know. They may expand like the other ones have too. But anyways, Winston Churchill once said, "Democracy is the worst form of government, except for all the others." Do you agree with this sentiment?
Okay. What was it? He said democracy is the worst form of government except for all others?
Yes.
Yeah. No, I get what he's saying. I totally get what he means.
Because, so you agree with his sentiment?
I don't know if I agree with it completely. Like, it's not that I agree with it so much, but I understand the sentiment, though. Like, I can empathize with what he's saying. Because, like, I think he's just saying, like, people aren't usually very smart voters. They, like, don't vote very well sometimes. Like, they're not very informed, or they're just voting based off of, feelings. I mean, and sometimes voting off of feelings isn't bad necessarily, depending on what you're voting on. But, like, at the same time, democracy is also better than, like, any other form of government we've ever had. Because everyone gets a say, at least. And, like, it's the people's decision. It's not just the person at the top's decision.
Yeah, I guess. Well, I just get confused. Like, I guess it depends on what he's thinking is considered a form of government. Because when I Google 10 common forms of government, there's democracy, communism, socialism, oligarchy, aristocracy,
and those are
monarchy, theocracy, colonialism. But I don't know if that's what he means when he was
they're like, you can have more than one of those at the same time, I think.
I feel like this is more representative, though. Democracy, monarchy, oligarchy, and totalitarian,
Yeah.
authoritarian. Like, compared out of those four, then yes, democracy,
Yes.
I would say, is the best. I mean, but yes, so then the next one. Churchill also said the best argument against democracy is a 5-minute conversation with the average voter. Do you agree with that sentiment?
Sorry, what was a 5-minute conversation? I'm sorry, I keep making you repeat yourself.
No, you're good. The best argument against democracy is a 5-minute conversation with the average voter. Do you agree with that sentiment?
Yeah, I think that having conversations with voters, like making people think about how they vote, is really productive.
But he's saying that's a good argument against democracy.
I disagree with that because I think the more we communicate with each other and the more we compromise with each other, at least somewhat, as long as we're not making like terrible compromise that are really hurting people, but like, smaller compromises, then yeah, like I think it's good that we can have a conversation and persuade other people. And not even persuade, but just like, get people thinking about how they vote. Because without the conversation, you're kind of just stuck with your own opinions in your own head and you're not really examining yourself. Like you don't have anything to compare yourself to.
Yeah. And I also disagree with that sentiment because with that sentiment, he's basically saying the average voter is an idiot and they're not. I would say they're misinformed or ill-informed by whether it's propaganda or news pundits who are pushing narratives, which we can argue that that's their fault. They should not be easy to sway. But I mean, that's just also a human design
When
fault, then,
people
is it
can't
not?
help how gullible they are.
Yeah, exactly. That's a human design
you
issue.
can a little bit if like, you actually have someone helping you examine yourself, but like, it takes work.
Yeah, effort.
And like not everyone's gonna be there immediately.
Yeah. So I disagree with that because, yeah, basically with that statement, I feel like he's saying that the average voter is an idiot and can't be helped. And he's I don't know. It just sounds like a moral superiority statement. I don't know. I don't know anything about Churchill, but I don't like that sentiment that he had. So what about this one? Law professor Roger Fisher suggested that the U.S. nuclear codes be implanted into the heart of a volunteer. If the president wanted to use the terrifying power of nuclear weapons, they'd have to kill the first innocent with their own hands to retrieve the codes.
Whoa. This is a lot. I'm sorry. Can you go a little slower?
Yeah. Okay. So basically, the nuclear codes should be implanted into the heart of a volunteer. If the president wants to use nukes, he has to basically kill that innocent person to get the codes.
Why?
Do you think this is a good idea?
Nuclear weapon? Why don't not just get rid of nuclear weapons at that point? And it's kind of the point he's trying to make, I think, is that no.
Well, he's saying if you're gonna use a nuclear, because the nuclear weapons aren't, you can't have it only hurt it like people that, because obviously what they did with the bombs, they killed so many innocent people. They didn't just kill the quote unquote enemy at the time. They killed a lot of innocent people.
Yeah, citizens who had nothing to do with the war, who are just living in the country.
So I think that's the whole point behind it, is the president would have to kill an innocent American before he risked killing innocent other country, nation, people. But that's what I'm
saying. Just get rid of the nukes at that point then.
But we can't. We talked, remember? It'd be on, like, because there's no guarantee other countries will.
I'm not saying just us, I'm saying the whole world.
But how do you enforce that?
Yeah.
Just by force?
But okay, I still disagree though, because you're just killing another innocent person. Like, I don't really care about borders and like who's an American and who's Japanese and who's whatever. Like, an innocent person dying is an innocent person dying, and all you're doing is just making one more innocent person die, in my opinion. So I completely disagree with that.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess I don't. It's not ethical, obviously, but using nukes isn't ethical either. So I think that we should keep. I think we have to keep them, even if we don't want to. But we should never use them
Right. Like we
because
should.
they're wrong.
Right. I mean, we should never use them, but I could see using them in self-defense if someone nukes us, but like I still think
But
it's
that's
still
just
wrong, but like it's less wrong than actively going first and nuking someone first.
I don't know. That's kind of petty to me because we're already gonna die. So what? Now you just want assured destruction of the whole globe because somebody else decided to.
I mean,
I don't
yeah,
know.
that's kind of the social agreement, though, isn't it?
I guess.
I mean, even if you don't like it, like I think that's just the social agreement and how it goes.
Well, I'm not in charge of that
Because,
button,
like,
so
I
it's
mean,
not my.
what you're just gonna like allow another country to like nuke your country, like, and just do nothing about it, nothing to like try to defend your citizen, like, like
But I guess it's not defense,
it's not
though.
defense, but it's just telling them like, hey, you shouldn't have fucking done that. Like, because otherwise, without
Yeah,
that social agreement, people are just going to start nuking each other because they think, oh, this country's not going to nuke us back because they're too good for that. So we can just nuke them and get rid of them. No, like you need that social agreement so that nobody does use the nukes. That's the point of the social agreement. How is this guy still hungry? He just ate a Pop-Tart. Anyway.
but it's all just a farce then. Like it's just a fake. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But
Maybe I gotta give it more stuff in the kitchen. But yeah, sorry, I got distracted by my game.
that's okay. I have another. Well, this one we kind of started this, but I don't think we discussed it. But it was one that so you already know the question, but I'll read it again.
Okay.
Does a person's motivation matter regarding whether an action is morally good, or does only the action itself matter? For example, James donates money to charity solely to impress his friends. Is James' action morally good, and if so, in what sense?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't even remember how I answered this last time we talked about it, but
That's okay.
I think that like it's kind of on a scale of morality, I guess. Like even if you do a good thing just to gain clout or whatever, like you're still doing a good thing at the end of the day, so it's still at least somewhat morally good. But like I think if you do it with better intentions, like you just want to do it because you want to do the good thing, like I still think that that's better morally.
Okay,
Like it's on a
that
higher
makes
pedestal
sense.
morally, I guess.
Because yeah, this is just asking about the action. Is that action? It's not talking about James as a person, but yeah, I agree then. Because the action itself is still good. Donating to a charity is still good, regardless of the. I mean, as long as it's a good charity, but that's another issue.
Yeah.
But assuming it's a good charity, the action is morally good. But if he would have done it, I guess, with the intention of helping people, then I guess it would make it maybe better in a sense. Like, I guess I can see how it would make it, in theory, better. Because in theory, if he were to do something like that out of the goodness of his heart, then in my opinion, maybe he would do more good things just out of the goodness of his heart. Whereas right now it was for a selfish reason. So I guess that's more of a potential future. But again, that's more about him than the action. I guess the action to me, it's good.
Yeah. Okay.
Morally good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's still morally good, I would agree.
Yeah.
What the? How do I get this? Vampircillin D. Do you know how I get that?
No. Is it
Oh.
supposed to like cure you?
I can click on the phone and choose call service and choose matchmaking service from the phone book. When the gypsy matchmaker comes, choose buy potion vampircillin D. Okay, so I need the matchmaker. Well, he needs a girlfriend anyways. He's kind of lonely. Ooh, neighbors. Yes. Ronnie.
Do you ever use the cheats to heal his needs? Make them
No,
all
I don't know
green?
how to do that. What are the cheats?
I can Google it quick. I think it's just like because you know how to do the control
Just greet him and then they'll do your shit. But yeah, okay. So what are the cheats to make it? Because I don't know why he's freaking out like this already. Like, I don't know what I did to make him so hungry and tired and not having fun. But how do I...
So it says enter bool prop. Testing cheats enabled. True.
Okay.
And then hit enter.
Oh, hold on. Let me try this again. Oh, okay. I think it's already enabled.
And then it... Okay, that's in Creatism. Sims height. Oh. Type in max motives and then hit enter, I think.
Oh, cool. That worked.
Did it?
Yeah. But, okay, now let's play it. Yeah, now it's definitely going to go up. Awesome.
Okay. And, okay, I have... So, are you ready for another question?
1 second. Let me just... I'm trying to get
Talk
rid
to
of
him.
this screen.
Does a Control-Shift-C work?
No.
Or whatever, or Command. I don't know what it is, I guess.
Yeah, it's Control-Shift-C, but it's not working for me. Let me try it now. No, it didn't work. Okay. How do I... There, it worked that time for some reason, but not the other times. And what... Oh, hold on. Before we do another question, I just want to zoom in on this dude. What is he doing here?
Is that your... Oh, he's burning, because it's sunlight.
He was burning inside, though, too. Oh, I didn't even put lights in his
know.
house, either. I forgot about the lights. Okay. Entertain and joke. Come on. Wait, why does he have a carpool? He has a car. Alright. Why? No, you're gonna keep talking to him. Okay. You can...
Question?
Yeah, you can question.
Okay. Do you prefer the moral viewpoint of consequentialism, which focuses on the consequences of actions, or deontology, which focuses on the innate rightness or wrongness of the actions themselves?
Well, I feel like it's not black and white like that. Like, I feel like you have to take... I feel like I guess I take more into consideration the rightness or the wrongness of the actions themselves, because I feel like people can just make mistakes sometimes, and like something bad can happen when they had a good intention. And I don't think doing something with a good intention, with a truly genuinely good intention, mind you, not just like you think you have a good intention, like, you know, like something that's truly beneficial for, you know, humanity ultimately, even if it's beneficial for yourself, but like something that doesn't harm others, I guess. Like, you know, you're trying not to harm others at all. And if that's, you know, part of your intention and you have good intentions like that, then I just think that, you know, you aren't morally in the wrong, even if something goes wrong and there's a bad outcome.
Okay.
And that's how I feel about it.
So I guess you don't really consider the action or the consequences of the action. You more consider motivation?
Yeah. And I mean, I guess, like, but I consider the motivation more, I guess, because, yeah, bad outcomes can happen when you have good intentions. Now, are your intentions actually good? That's another question, completely. You know, like, because some people think their intentions are good. Like, even people who think, like, oh, yeah, no, I'm just trying to save the white race by having an ethno-state. Like, that's not a good intention, for example, because you're hurting other people. You're restricting their freedoms, and, you know, you're treating them poorly. you're probably most likely trying to take away the rights as humans, which is not a good intention, but you think it's a good intention because you think you're just saving your race, you know?
Yeah. So the action. So, okay. So basically, like you said, it's not black and white for like your viewpoint on the
Yeah,
matter. You
exactly.
take into account all of it,
Yeah, it can
but
all
except for the
amalgamate as
consequences.
one moral like position, I guess.
But you don't care about consequences at all, then.
I care if the consequences are intentional.
Okay.
Like if somebody is intentionally trying to cause harm, like then yes, I do consider the consequences. But that's more of the intention though, I guess at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Even if it is based off of the consequence. Let me see if I can. Ooh.
How about the moral stance of hedonism asserts that the core ethical principle is to maximize pleasure and minimize pain. Do you agree?
So hedonism asserts that the core ethical principle is to maximize pleasure and minimize pain. I would say yeah. I agree with that. Because that's the ethical principle. Now, is that actually what happens with hedonism all the time? If it's excess, like it depends what is hedonistic about what you're doing, I guess, and what kind of hedonism you're engaging in and how often you're doing it, depending on what it is. So, like, even if that's the goal but I'd say the goal is to maximize pleasure and minimize pain, but it's not always the outcome. It can be
Because
the outcome a lot of the time, but
what if somebody's pleasure is hurting others?
right. But I think that hedonism, I don't know if does that include pleasure that hurts others? I'm not sure if the term
I don't
includes
know,
that.
but we're going to expand it too.
I guess if we're using this definition where it does, then no. Then I would not say that that is the core principle anymore. But from what I understood about I thought that it just included things that were like self pleasure, like for yourself, but not things that would hurt others. But like, I guess,
I'll look quick. Is it a philosophy or what is
well,
hedonism? I guess.
hedonism, I don't know how to describe it exactly. It's like doing like taboo things, kind of, I guess. That's a really butchered basic definition, but like, I don't know the best way to describe it, I guess.
So the dictionary definition for hedonism is the ethical theory that pleasure, in the sense of the satisfaction of desires, is the highest good and proper aim of human life.
Oh, so it basically says that they agree then.
But it says desires, which hurting others could be a desire.
It says all desires are
Let
that
me
though?
keep looking here. um Ethical or evaluative hedonism claims that only pleasure has worth or value, and only pain or displeasure has disvalue, or the opposite of worth.
Oh no, I messed up.
So, in general, pleasure is understood broadly below as including or as included in all pleasant feeling or experience. Contentment, delight, ecstasy, elation, enjoyment, euphoria, exhilaration, exultation, gladness, gratification, gratitude, joy, liking, love, relief, satisfaction, tranquility, and so on.
Okay.
I'm just gonna Google this hedonism only. I guess I just keep seeing pleasure. It doesn't really
I guess,
specify.
yeah. It depends who you ask, I guess, and how
Yeah.
they apply hedonism to their life. Like, it's really based on the individual. Oh my god, bro, you need a shower. But I guess not.
Vampires must have worse needs in the game.
That's what it sounds like, yeah. So I guess that's why he wants a cure. It's a disability.
Oh.
Bro, I just told you to take a shower. Oh, but now you're gonna take
And he's going to bed.
Oh my god, he keeps going to bed and waking up and then wanting a shower. We'll take a shower real quick, bro. I know you're not having fun, but you have other shit you gotta get done.
Let me... I have... So this one is a moral dilemma.
I keep telling you to go to bed. A moral dilemma?
Yes.
Okay.
So, you go out with your husband for dinner at a new restaurant you have not frequented before. It is in part of town you rarely visit. You are shocked to see your friend's spouse having dinner with a very young, attractive person. From the way they are behaving, it is obvious they are more than friends. The couple finish their meal and leave without seeing you. They behave very affectionately on the way out the door.
Okay.
Do you...
Sorry, how did this start? I was typing it.
No, you're good. So, basically you and your husband, I guess, in this scenario, went out to a restaurant that you don't go to normally.
Okay.
There, you see, I guess, we'll make it so this would be you and your boyfriend going out, and then you see my boyfriend, I guess,
Okay.
there with someone else, and they don't see you, but you can tell that this is more than just a friendship type situation. So do you tell your friend? So I guess in that case, tell me, knowing you probably will not be believed and that it may ruin your friendship, or say nothing about seeing the couple as it is none of your business. They may even have an open relationship. So maybe not like a close friend then, I guess, in this case, but.
Well, okay.
Or maybe it could be a close friend, I guess. I don't know.
Them, but I would tell them in a way where, like, I'm not accusing their partner of cheating necessarily. I would just say, oh, I saw your husband or boyfriend or whatever it was. You know, I saw your partner at this restaurant with another lady, and I mean, it looked like they were kind of flirting, but like I couldn't really tell. I wouldn't even mention that actually. I would just say, like, I saw your boyfriend at the restaurant with another lady, and
okay.
I mean,
so you do it more
and you know,
inquisitive.
But, yeah, and be like, do you know anything about that? Or
okay,
you know, because like they could have been like a business meeting. Like, even if you think you can tell, like, unless you like see them like literally like touching, flirty, or like kissing or something, like, I mean, you can't really tell just looking necessarily, just by them talking. So it would depend on the context of that too. Like, if I saw them kissing, then I would say, hey, I saw your boyfriend kiss another woman at the restaurant, just to let you know. And then if it's an open relationship, they'd probably just say, oh yeah, we're in an open relationship. And I'd be like, oh, okay, cool, sounds good. You know?
Yeah, I guess the option that's like knowing you probably won't be believed and that it may ruin your friendship, that means that your friendship probably isn't stable to begin with if your friend is just going to not believe you and fight you on it, in my opinion. Like, your friends, you should be able to have those difficult conversations with your friends if you're truly friends.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be a friendship ending conversation.
Right.
Especially because you're just doing it because you're concerned. And then if they're like, well, we're in an open relationship, then you're like, cool, good for you. That's your choice. This
guy wants me to buy so much. I don't care. I'm not buying this stuff for you, bro. But yeah, no, that's what I would do though.
Okay, I have another one. This is called, A Difficult Choice. So, you and your family love the beach and decide to so you're going to a cabin. Your daughter often gets bored, so you make plans. So you're going to a cabin and you brought your niece along because your daughter gets bored. So to keep her company. So
Oh,
you're
okay.
going to a cabin with your daughter and your niece.
Okay.
So when you get there, it looks like there's a storm coming. So the water looks rough. So you tell, then you tell them that they can, I'll just read it and then I can summarize it. You tell the girls they can get ready to swim, but to come back and help unload the car. They are so excited they do not pay attention to the last part of what you say and run down to the beach to swim. You do not realize they have done so until you hear your daughter scream. You realize they are both caught in a strong current and might be swept out to sea. You are a good swimmer and know you can save one of them. You have a difficult choice to make. Do you save your niece first, as she is a poor swimmer and will not be able to last as long as your daughter? Or do you save your daughter first because although she is a strong swimmer and may be able to last long enough for you to come back after saving your niece, you cannot stand the idea of losing her?
It depends how far they both are out there. Like, are they at the same distance, or like, is one of them closer to the shore than the other? Like, I mean, that's a part of it, and like, because I think like if the niece is closer to the shore than the daughter, then I'd save the daughter because like if the niece was close enough to the shore, but then yeah, I mean, I guess yeah, I'd probably just that's hard.
It is.
It's supposed to be hard though, because like I get it.
It's a moral dilemma.
And like I don't know, I feel like if I didn't save my niece, then like my brother would never forgive me, type thing.
Yeah.
Too, but then again, I don't know. But then it's my daughter, though. I mean, yeah, I don't know. That's really hard. I guess honestly, though, well, how good of a swimmer is my daughter? Like if
It
she's just
makes
a
it.
better swimmer. If she's a really good, like if she's like on a swim team or something and she does really well, type thing. Like I probably save the niece first. But if it was something where like she's just barely better at swimming, like she can tread water and the niece can't, then like yeah, I'd probably say my daughter, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, and obviously, there's really no right or wrong ever in a moral. That's why it's a
Or it's
moral
a moral
dilemma.
dilemma, yeah.
But
if I'm being honest, yeah, that's what I do.
yeah, and yeah, there's always factors to take into consideration, but it's still not an easy question.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, do you have the chat open, by the way? Because I kind of forgot about that.
Yes, I did.
Oh, you do? Okay. I'm going to open that now.
Okay.
I totally have not been watching that. Here we go.
Okay, I have another one for you.
Okay.
After you get it set up. Or I guess if you can listen, I can start talking and then.
Oh, hold on a second. Let me just mute you on this. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, your friend offers you an opportunity to make a great deal of money very quickly. He has arranged to set up an offshore account for your profits. He will not tell you exactly how he is making this money, but you get the impression it is not exactly legal. He only wants an investment of $500 and promises you will have enough from your minimal investment that you will never need to work again. Do you give him the 500, deciding if you don't know how he is making it, you're in the clear? Do you demand to know the details before getting involved, or do you decide you want no part of this deal as you trust your instinct that the offer is shady and you might even get in legal trouble?
Oh, I mean, I would definitely investigate what they were doing, but like not to get them in trouble, but just to like know what they're offering. Because like if I'm honestly like if I'm a part of it, like I think I'll be like it depends what the business is too, and like yeah.
So you would investigate to get, you would just to protect yourself, not to get them in trouble or
Right.
not to...
Just to make sure I really can make my money. And if I can't, then I'll say no. But...
make sure it's legit and not a total Ponzi scheme.
yeah. Exactly. Stupid vampire.
Oh. What are these ones? Oh no, I don't want to. We can do... we'll just scroll.
Okay. Come on.
So, these are questions. They're supposedly unanswerable questions. Okay. So we'll see if you can answer them.
Okay.
Or both of us, I guess, but... because there's no answer, so I don't know the answer.
Okay.
Because there's not supposed to be an answer. So, is the opposite of opposite the same or opposite?
The opposite, or same or opposite?
Yep. Is the opposite of opposite the same or opposite?
The opposite of opposite is same, I would think.
You think the opposite of opposite is opposite?
No, I think it's same. Because they mean opposite things.
Well, I think it's I don't think it's asking same or opposite. But I mean, if that's your answer, then okay.
Yeah, that's what I would say. But like,
okay.
What are they asking then if I'm not answering it right?
Well, no, I don't think there is a right answer. I don't. I guess I...
what were you thinking?
So is the opposite of opposite the same or opposite? So to me, the opposite of opposite of opposite would be you. So you think it's the same? Like the word same?
Yeah. Oh, I get what they're at. Like, is the opposite of an opposite the same as or the opposite of that thing? Right.
Yeah, I think that's what they're asking that way.
I think it depends on what the things are that are being compared. I don't think it depends on what another opposite of one of the things is. Like, I just think you compare the two objects. Like, I don't think it's either one.
So, men, woman, is the opposite of opposite the same or opposite? Is the opposite of men, or is the opposite of
opposite of men is woman. Right?
So the opposite of opposite. So the opposite of the opposite. The same. So yes. Right?
Yeah. I guess.
Because the opposite of men. No. The opposite of men, which is woman. The opposite of woman, which is men. I think.
Yeah, I don't even know what the question's asking, to be honest. It's a little confusing. Maybe I'm just kind of stupid, but you know, I never claimed to be a genius. So... oh my god, this guy just wants to buy everything. Look at all his wants. Buy. So freaking needy. Okay, fine. I'll buy you a freaking poster. Oh, wow.
So, so these are just questions in general.
Okay.
When was the last time you had a dream which terrified you?
Oh god, not that long ago. You know what? I can tell about a really terrible dream I had like a few days ago.
A few days ago?
Yeah. Oh, I was having like so many, like when my car got stolen that night that I found out, like I just had all these terrible dreams. But I'll tell you about the worst one I had. So like I was in line to be processed to be released from prison, pretty much, or jail or something like that. I don't know. It didn't specify in my dream, I guess. But I was incarcerated in my dream, and then I was about to be released, and then all of a sudden, like everyone else was out of the building except for me, and then they just released a bunch of gas to like, and then it like knocked me out, and then I woke up.
What?
And then, like I was trying to keep myself awake, but then the prison guard put some kind of chloroform or something over my face, and then I passed out and woke up.
Yikes.
Yeah, so that was a terrifying dream I had recently.
You said everybody else was freed from the prison except you, or
Yeah.
jail or whatever, and then they gassed you?
Yeah.
Huh. That's concerning.
Right. Why am I having these dreams?
Yeah, I was gonna say, what do you
Because
think
I'm
bad
stressed.
dreams come
I mean, my
from?
car got stolen. I was kind of stressed out, but I don't know why my
Do you
brain
believe
did it that way.
dreams mean anything?
I think dreams mean whatever you think they mean. Like, I think everyone's dream interpretation is going to be personal because you're going to be the one who knows best how your brain is going to symbolize things because you know your thoughts the best, you know? So, like, I don't believe in, like, dream books that can dictate everyone's dream necessarily, although there's probably some commonalities between similar dreams. But, like, I think there's more in the details that are very personal that you can try to account for yourself.
In one of those those short book explanations that I was reading before my subscription expired, one of them was about dreams and like just sleep, how sleep is good for us, and we neglect it as humans in modern society. But it mentioned how their theory, and I mean it makes sense to me, is that dreams are a sense of therapy. But obviously, there are people whose dreams are too intense. So there is that part of the spectrum where their dreams aren't therapeutic. But I would say for
Right, like
people
me.
who their dreams, I think a lot of people with PTSD, their dreams are too intense. Usually, is kind of what I've understood
And I
from
feel
the
like,
little knowledge I have. But
yeah, and I feel like I'm sure the PTSD does play a part in it, but I also think it's like my ADHD brain because like I feel like I don't get enough done during the day, and then I take it out on myself, and like I don't know. I just feel like my brain is trying to come up with more for me to do while I'm asleep so I can feel productive.
I guess what I was talking about was more so, and this can happen with not only military, but like people who come back from war and can't even sleep through a dream because they get woken up in the middle, or they wake up and think they're back. Like those types of extreme is those wouldn't be therapeutic at all because they can't distinguish the dream from reality, which is when it's dangerous, obviously.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we even have much research on helping those people either, unfortunately.
And it's not always like a flashback dream necessarily that you can have. Like you can have PTSD related dreams that aren't flashback dreams, like that are just they symbolically still kind of represent your trauma, but they're not like a direct flashback. You know, and I don't think those dreams are good either sometimes. Like I mean, dreams of like something similar to your trauma happening to you again, for example.
Because your body thinks you're actually going through it again.
Exactly.
Main issue.
Yeah, that's the main issue. Yeah, but like the flashback dreams obviously aren't good either.
Yeah, I'd say they kind of do the same thing though, like what you're explaining. Because like you with either one, you feel like you're going through that experience, which isn't helpful.
Yeah.
Therapeutically, because you aren't like it. It's like lying. I don't know how to. It's lying to your body in a way. And that's not good. And because you also go through the physiological response too, like that physiological stress response. Whereas usually with dreams, we're not going through, like, because I will still have like frightening dreams, but not to that extent because I don't have, I mean, I don't think I have I've never been diagnosed with it, so I don't have it, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't get those flashback type or those intense type dreams personally. I mean, mine can be vivid, but I know that it's a dream, if that makes sense, especially after I wake up too. When I wake up, I don't feel like it was real, but I feel like with those, I don't know for sure, but I feel like with sometimes PTSD dreams, it can still feel like the dream itself was real, even though
Yeah,
you know you just woke
I've
up,
had
but it still
dreams.
feels like that was real.
I've just had dreams like that plenty of times where I thought the dream was real. He keeps
Yeah.
buying all these fucking paintings, I swear to God.
Why are you spoiling him? Spoiling in him.
Because I want him to be happy. Even though, like, he deserves a decent life here. Even though he married his cousin. But that's in the past now. He's going on a blind date soon here. So we're going to find out who his perfect match is. Oh, birdcage.
So,
Okay.
here's another one.
All right.
If you wrote a book about yourself, what would you title it?
That's a great question. That book. I guess.
I feel like that's a hard one. Just like trying to think of a name. I've always had trouble with names.
Maybe like Addicted to Chaos or something.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah. That might be.
I feel like it's a little catchy.
Yeah.
Or it is catchy, I would say.
And I think it's relatable for some people too.
Yes.
He wants all this stuff. All right, I'm done spoiling it for now. What? I just bought him this DJ set for over $2,700 and he didn't even get his aspiration met. What an a-hole. How do I drink this potion now?
If you could get married anywhere in the world, where would it be?
I can cure vampire. But I don't want to cure him though, really, do I? Nah, he wants to be. I'm just gonna keep cheating. Oh, whoa, she just fell out of the sky, I guess.
His significant other?
Well, his blind date.
Oh.
Significant other's yet. I guess she's Hawaiian or something. She got a little hula skirt on, a little thing on her head. Oh my goodness. Why? There we go. Oh no! Expire? No. Go away, Grim Reaper. Oh, he looked mad. Oh no!
Did someone die?
Yeah, he died. My character.
Your character?
Yeah, and they're on a blind date. And she's like, it's okay, I guess. I guess I'll just go in the house for now.
She's robbing him.
Maybe. Now what do I do? Oh, I'll sweep myself. What does this mean? Where am I?
Can you be a ghost in Sims 2? I don't remember.
I think there's a cheat for it, but... Oh. Well. Yeah, I guess they want me to do this without saving.
Want you to do what?
They want me to exit without saving so I can save the character. Because I don't want him to die. Trying to get him in cahoots with his neighbors. Oh no, but I have to build the whole house over again now. We're going to a different character, okay?
Okay. It didn't save it at all?
It didn't even save the house. No, because I built the house right before I started playing. And I didn't save it, and then he died.
Oh. It doesn't autosave, does it?
No.
Which I guess is good, though, because then it might have saved him when he died, too.
You can play the Brandon House. All right. Do you have any more questions? Or
Yes, I have a lot.
okay, we don't have to go through them all. Maybe we can.
Well, no.
We can do one more.
One more?
Yeah, is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, then I gotta find a good one.
Then we could do more next time too.
Yeah. I just wanna. I
Oh,
guess we can.
they have 2 bubble blowers now. I guess I didn't realize they gave them one already. Look at him go! Ooh, change into PJs. Okay.
We'll just do this.
There's no bathroom down here.
I think I know, like, your answers a little.
Well, that's fine. I mean, we can choose whatever one you want, really. But
Yeah, I'm just trying to decide between two. We'll just go with this one this time. Do human... no, I don't want to do that one this time. Maybe next time. We'll do this one. Do you shape your own destiny, or does everything happen by fate?
I think kind of both, honestly. Like, I think you definitely shape your destiny, but like you can't control everything in your destiny. And I think some things are just based on how the laws of physics turn out, and like not anything that you can control. And like in a very complicated sense sometimes too, but
So I guess with
and
that,
like even with your
do you think...
decisions, I feel like are determined by your genetics and your
Okay.
environment.
I was gonna
Like,
say, do we have freedom?
I mean, I think we're slaves to ourselves in
Okay.
that sense. Like,
So we're
even
not
if,
fully in control.
right, because even if you really want to do something, sometimes you just don't do that, you know?
Yeah.
So we're slaves to ourselves, whether that's morally or, you know, hedonistically or whatever. Like, you know, that's just.
Yes. And sometimes, I guess maybe a very simplified explanation of that could be like and I guess it depends on how you see it too. It's also like a perception, because
Yeah.
you could say, with me being an introvert, I'm a slave to the introvertness by not being able to go out into crowds because they make me uncomfortable. But is it also that so it's all my perception. Like, do
Yeah.
I perceive that as a flaw, or is it something that I can turn into a positive in a way?
Right.
So I guess it's also a perception. But I guess I can see how it's still not really my choice, because if I were to go out in public in a large crowd, I would be extremely uncomfortable. And I don't choose that. I don't choose that physiological response to that
Yeah.
situation.
Because I think,
But you can also work on it too.
yeah, I think any situation or like any quality, I mean, can be like positive or negative. It just depends on how you use that
Yeah.
quality.
But then I also feel like we can, over time, like I could become less introverted, but then would that be my choice, or would that have been already predestined and planned?
Yeah. I think that it's like your choice in the sense that you do make the choice, but I think your choice is determined by like your environment and genetics.
Okay.
And like just and like your morals too. But I think your morals are like part genetic and part environment anyways.
So let's say for somebody, if they were to become a politician, so you think that was just what they were eventually going to become regardless?
Um yeah, because just of the way people make decisions. Like I think that they could potentially be predictable. I just think that it's a very complicated process and there's a lot more knowledge we would have to gain before that was possible. Oh, whoa, he's floating here. Woo!
And then I guess the only caveat that I see to that question posed, obviously sometimes, is homelessness. Like, I guess, but I guess in that sense, you're saying it's not really a choice.
Right, I'm not
Obviously,
saying they
nobody
chose
chooses to be homeless either.
I mean, there's some people that do, but that's only because rent's
Well, yeah,
expensive.
yeah. But in that sense, I guess so no matter what, they would have ended up homeless. So they didn't have a choice in the matter
I think
either
in
way.
this timeline, yes. But I kind of
Just
believe in
because of
multiverse theory, and like in other universes, you would have made different choices because you would have had a different environment and even maybe different genetics.
okay.
All right, I think that's enough for today.
Yeah.
All right.
That.
No, not that.
What?
Shoot, I'm trying not to click on my assignment. Okay.
Oh.
There we go.
Okay. Well, we're gonna sign off. I guess is that what you call it?
Yeah.
That's what we're gonna call it. But I'll just, I guess, say, just don't forget to follow our other social medias too, and then
Yes.
that way you can know the next time we go live too.
Yeah, and we are on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and then obviously also Twitch sometimes. I think we forgot to post this time.
Oh, yeah, true.
We'll put this on our YouTube channel.
Yeah. And then that way, obviously, we want to have an engaging conversation. That's why we like Twitch too, because then we can actually engage with you guys more so than just which I love our dialogue too, obviously, we both do. But it's also good to have other input too. So it'd be awesome to see you guys on Twitch where we can have that dialogue because it's live. So we can do that there, unlike with our videos where they're pre-recorded. But
don't forget to follow us here on Twitch too.
Yes, because I think that notifies you right away, doesn't it? Yeah. So Twitch will notify you if you follow us on Twitch. Otherwise, we'll always try to post on Facebook, Instagram,
KSS podcast, no spaces, everything on social media.
Yes. And I don't know Facebook, Instagram. I mean, I guess I don't really use Twitter, and I don't know if we can post on YouTube, can we? Notifications on YouTube. So probably Facebook and Instagram would be where the notification would be. Or Twitch. That's probably going to be the best way to see when we go live. Is just to follow us on Twitch. Yeah. But we will see everyone hopefully next time.
Yes.